This is disc number 4.
February 2034. Interim.
And John Hancock right there, Mr. Silvestri. You're signing for 15,000 feet of Oregon pine and 79,000 feet of California redwood.
Good.
Ninth City.
Ninth? Oh no, ninth is done. Long finished. We're on 10th City now.
10th.
Yes, sir, we'll take this pine and redwood and hammer together a clean, neat little town by the edge of the Stone Canal. On Sunday nights, you will see red, blue, and green stained glass light in the churches and hear the voices singing the numbered hymns.
We will now sing 79.
And in certain houses, you'll hear the hard clatter of a typewriter.
The novelist at work.
Or the scratch of a pen.
The poet at work.
Or no sound at all.
The former beachcomber at work.
It is as if, in many ways, a great earthquake had shaken loose the roots and cellars of an Iowa town. And then in an instant, a whirlwind twister of Oz-like proportions had carried the entire town off to Mars and set it down, without a bump.
April 2034. The musicians.
We've hiked in the summer, autumn, and winter.
I like the autumn best. It's like walking on Earth through the autumn leaves. What you got for lunch?
Liverwurst and ketchup. You?
Ham and pickles.
An orange soda.
How far are we going today?
Far out. Into Martian country.
My mom said we can't go beyond the limits of 10th City.
Yeah, I'll catch heck if we go too far.
With the dead Martian town just calling our names? You want to stay here?
Well...
Come on. First one there gets to kick.
Last one there's a girl.
First one gets to play Martian.
There it is.
Dead town.
The Forbidden Town.
The dead town's doors lay wide open. And listen. You can hear the faintest crackle from inside.
What's making the crackle sound?
Maybe the autumn leaves. Maybe something else.
You know, my mom said I couldn't go into any of the old towns. She said I'd get the beating of my life when I get home. She said she would check my shoes.
Mine said the same thing. They can tell.
Afraid? Go on. The house right there.
No, I'm not afraid. Just don't want to get into trouble, that's all.
Here goes nothing. Living room, bedroom, and these black leaves everywhere. Just like all the other dead houses.
I'm the musician.
No, I am. I was here first. Now, where are the bones?
There they are.
Yeah, here goes. Woohoo! Look at me, playing the xylophone bones. I'm a Martian musician.
A Martian.
Come on, we'll kick some more of these black flakes. It will sound good with the xylophone.
Listen to this one. Wait, stop. Look what just rolled out from the flakes. It looks like a snowball. Look.
That isn't a snowball. It's a skull. Look, on the side facing me. His mouth, eyes.
He lived here. He was the Martian who lived here.
Maybe he was, but he's dead now.
More ribs, like a spider's leg.
A big spider.
We should see what's in some of the other houses.
This one is still fun.
But the firemen.
He's right. The firemen are coming. They're burning clean all these old dead towns. Pretty soon, they'll shovel away these peppermint stick bones and then burn the houses to the ground. Snowball head!
Spider leg hearts!
No wall head.
Xylophone bones!
After a while, we went home. My mom examined my shoes for black flakelets. She found them. I got a scalding bath for playing there and a beating from Dad.
By the end of the year, the firemen had raked the autumn leaves and white xylophones away, and it was no more fun.
May 2034. The Wilderness. $60 million miles. I can't believe that men on Mars tonight are building towns waiting for us.
The only thing to believe is catching our rocket tomorrow.
My wedding dress. Strange to marry on another world.
Let's go to bed.
No. The call comes at midnight. I couldn't sleep thinking how to tell Will I've decided to take the Mars rocket. Oh, Lenora, think of it. My voice traveling 60 million miles on the light phone to him. I changed my mind so quick. I'm scared.
Our last night on Earth. Our children, they won't be Americans. Or Earth people at all. We'll all be Martians the rest of our lives.
I don't want to go.
What?
I'm afraid. The space, the darkness, the rocket, the meteors, everything gone. Why should I go out there?
It's a new world. It's like the old days. The men first and the women following.
Why? Why should I go? Tell me.
Because Will is up there. These men make it so hard. Used to be, if a woman ran 200 miles after a man, it was something. Then they made it 1,000 miles. And now they put a whole universe between us. But that can't stop us, can it?
I'm afraid I'll be a fool on the rocket.
I'll be a fool with you. Now, let's walk around town. Let's see everything one last time.
Tomorrow night this'll all be here, but we won't. People will wake up, eat, work, sleep, wake again, but we won't know it, and they'll never miss us.
Come on, we'll go get some chocolate malts.
Good evening.
Hello.
You ladies look pretty, but sure look sad.
2 chocolate malteds.
Yes, indeed.
Look. This is from Will to me. It came in the rocket mail 2 days ago. It was this that made my mind up for me, made me decide to go. I didn't tell you. I want you to see it now. Go ahead, read the note.
All right. Dear Janice, this is our house if you decide to come to Mars. Will.
Look at the picture he enclosed.
Oh my. The house is beautiful. Red flowers in the front, ferns, a porch. But Janice.
What?
This is a picture of your house. Here on Earth, here on Elm Street.
No, look close. See, on both sides of the house, the land. It's not land here on Earth. The soil is violet, the grass is a faint red. That's the house Will built for me, on Mars. It helps to look at it.
Helps?
All yesterday, when I had the chance, alone, and was most afraid and panicky, I took out this picture and looked at it.
That man Will knows just what he's doing.
2 chocolate malts.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything else?
No, thank you. What's the matter? You don't look happy.
I am, but
Yes?
I feel like I'm dead.
Dead.
Like I'm in a graveyard on a spring night and everything alive but me. And everyone moving and ready to go on with life without me. I see the faces of hundreds of friends I'm leaving behind, and this town. It's the first time I knew it was beautiful. The lonely night and the ancient bricks. Beautiful. It's like I felt each spring when I was very young, passing the graveyard and weeping for them because they were dead, and it didn't seem fair on nights as soft as that I was alive. I was guilty of living, and now here, tonight, I feel they have taken me from the graveyard and let me go above the town just once more to see what it is like to be living, to be a town and a people before they slam back the door on me again. Is this us here? Janice Smith and Lenora Holmes in the year 2034?
Yes.
I wish it were some other year.
1492, 1622. It's always Columbus Day or Plymouth Rock Day, and I'll be darned if I know what we women can do about it.
Be old maids.
Or just do what we're doing.
The call. Hello? Hello?
Light phone operator with a call for Janice Smith.
Yes. Yes, I'm Janice.
Please wait. The call should come through at any moment.
Yes, I'll wait. I placed it this afternoon. Takes a long time to reach Mars.
Yes, ma'am. Once connected, you will only have 1 minute. Please leave your message as quickly as you can.
Phoning through millions upon millions of miles, meteors and comets, from the moons of Mars and then to Mars itself, to a man in a room in another world.
Did you say something, ma'am?
No, I'm waiting.
You are connected. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Will. This is Janice. They say I haven't much time. A minute. I want to talk slow, but they say talk fast and get it all in. So I want to say I've decided. I will come up there. I'll go on the rocket tomorrow. I will come up there to you after all. And I love you. I hope you can hear me. I love you. It's been so long.
Transmission completed. Please await reply.
Has he replied?
Shh.
Hello? Hello? Janice?
I hear him.
What does he say?
Janice? And I love...
The call has been completed. Thank you for using Light Phone.
But I...
Did you hear him?
Yes.
What did he say? What did he say?
Is this how it was over a century ago? When women the night before lay ready for sleep, or not ready, in the small towns of the east, and heard the sounds of the horses in the night, and the creak of the Conestoga wagons ready to go, and the brooding of oxen under the trees, and the cry of children already lonely before their time. All the sounds of arrivals and departures into the deep forests and fields, the blacksmiths working in their own red hells through midnight, the smells of bacon and hams ready for the journeying, and the heavy feeling of the wagons like ships foundering with goods, with water in the wooden kegs to tilt and slop across the prairies, and the chickens, hysterical in their slung beneath, the wagon crates, and the dogs running out to the wilderness ahead, and fearful, running back with a look of empty space in their eyes. Is this how it was so long ago? On the rim of the precipice, on the edge of a cliff of stars. In their time, the smell of buffalo. In our time, the smell of a rocket. Is this then how it was?
Yes. Yes, indeed, very much so. This is how it has always been, and will forever continue to be.
Here is Hingston Creek.
Lustig Corners.
Black River. Driscoll Forest.
Peregrine Mountain.
Wilder Town.
Here's the place where the Martians killed the first Earthmen. It's called Red Town and has to do with blood.
Here's where the second expedition was destroyed. It's named Second Try.
Spender Hill. Nathaniel York Town.
The old Martian names were names of water and air and hills. They were the names of snows that emptied south in the stone canals to fill the empty seas, and the names of sealed and buried sorcerers in towers and obelisks.
And the rockets struck at the names like hammers, breaking away the marble into shale, shattering the crockery milestones that named the old towns, in the rubble of which great pylons were plunged with new names.
Iron Town.
Steel Town.
Aluminum City.
Electric Village.
Corn Town.
Green Villa.
Detroit 2.
All the mechanical names and the metal names from Earth.
But after everything was pinned down and neat and in its place, when everything was safe and certain, when the towns were well enough fixed and the loneliness was at a minimum, then the sophisticates came in from Earth. They came on parties and vacations, on little shopping trips for trinkets and photographs and the atmosphere. They came to study and apply sociological laws. They came with stars and badges and rules and regulations, bringing some of the red tape that had crawled across Earth like an alien weed, and letting it grow on Mars wherever it could take root.
They began to plan people's lives in libraries. They began to instruct and push about the very people who had come to get away from being instructed and ruled and pushed about. And it was inevitable that some of these people pushed back. April 2036. Usher 2. During the whole of a dull, dark, and soundless day in the autumn of the year, when the clouds hung oppressively low in the heavens, I had been passing alone on horseback through a singularly dreary tract of country, and at length found myself, as the shades of everything drew on, within the view of the melancholy house of Usher.
And there it stands on a low black hill, just as you wanted it, with the cornerstone inscription of 2036 AD. Long may it stand.
Yes.
And with that, my work is done. It's completed. And here is the key, Mr. Stendhal.
The house of Usher. Planned, built, bought, paid for. Wouldn't Mr. Poe be delighted?
Is it everything you wanted, sir?
Yes.
Is the color right? Is it desolate and terrible?
Very desolate, very terrible.
The walls are bleak.
Amazingly so.
The tarn, is it black and lurid enough?
Most incredibly black and lurid.
And the sedge, we've dyed it, you know. Is it the proper gray and ebon?
Hideous.
I'm very happy. We followed your plans to the letter. The structure should cause a iciness, a sickening of the heart, a dreariness of thought.
And it does. Mr. Bigelow, it's worth every penny. My God, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I had to work in total ignorance. Thank the Lord you had your own private rockets, or we'd never have been allowed to bring most of the equipment through. You notice It's always twilight here, this land. Always October. Barren, sterile, dead. Took a bit of doing. We killed everything. 10,000 tons of DDT. Not a snake, frog, or Martian fly left. Twilight. Always, Mr. Stendhal. And I'm proud of that. There are machines hidden which blot out the sun. It's always pretty dreary.
The dreariness, the oppression, the fetid vapors, the whole atmosphere, so delicately contrived and fitted. And that house. That crumbling horror, that evil lake, the fungi, the extensive decay. Plastic or otherwise, who could guess? The autumn sky. Somewhere above, beyond, far off, is the sun. Somewhere it is the month of April on the planet Mars, a yellow month with a blue sky. Somewhere above, the rockets are burning down to civilize a beautiful dead planet. The sound of their screaming passage is muffled by this dim, soundproofed world. My ancient autumn world.
Now that my job is done, I feel free to ask you, what you're going to do with all this.
With Usher? Haven't you guessed?
No.
Does the name Usher mean anything to you?
Nothing.
What about Edgar Allan Poe?
No, I'm afraid not.
Of course. How could I expect you to know the blessed Mr. Poe? He died a long while ago, before Lincoln. All his books were burned in the Great Fire 30 years ago.
Ah, one of those.
Yes, one of those, Mr. Bigelow. He and Lovecraft and Hawthorne and Ambrose Bierce and all the tales of terror and fantasy and horror, and, for that matter, tales of the future, were burned heartlessly. They passed a law. Oh, it started very small. Few years before the fire, it was a grain of sand. They began by controlling books of cartoons, and then detective books, and of course, films. One way or another, one group or another, political bias, religious prejudice, union pressures, there was always a minority afraid of something, and a great majority afraid of the dark, afraid of the future, afraid of the past, afraid of the present, afraid of themselves and shadows of themselves.
I see.
Afraid of the word politics, so I heard. Politics had become a synonym for communism, and with a screw they tightened it here and bolted it there. A push, a pull, a yank. Art and literature were soon like a great twine of taffy, strung about, being twisted like braids and then tied in knots and thrown in all directions until there was no more resiliency and no more savor to it. Then the film camera chopped short and the theaters turned dark, and the print presses trickled down from a great Niagara of reading matter to a mere innocuous dripping of pure material. The word escape was radical too, I tell you.
Was it?
It was. Every man, they said,
must face reality. Must face the here and now. Everything that's not so must go.
Like what, Senator?
Literary lies and flights of fancy. They must be shot in midair. Line them up against a wall. St. Nicholas, the Headless Horseman, and Snow White and Rumpelstiltskin and Mother Goose. Shoot them down and burn the paper castles and the fairy frogs and old kings and the people who live happily ever after. Once upon a time needs to become no more.
And spread the ashes of the phantom rickshaw with the rubble of the land of Oz. They filleted the bones of Glinda the Good and Ozma, and shattered Polychrome in a spectroscope, and served Jack Pumpkinhead with meringue at the biologist's ball. The beanstalk died in a bramble of red tape. Sleeping Beauty awoke at the kiss of a scientist, and expired by the fatal puncture of his syringe. And they made Alice drink something from a bottle, which reduced her to a size where she could no longer cry, "Curiouser and curiouser!" And they gave the looking-glass one hammer blow to smash it and every red king and oyster away. How immediate it was!
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just names to me from what I hear. The burning was a good thing.
Get out! You've done your job, now let me alone, you idiot! Listen here. I came to Mars to get away from you clean-minded people, but you're flocking in thicker every day like flies to offal. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to teach you a fine lesson for what you did to Mr. Poe on Earth. As of this day, beware. The House of Usher is open for business.
Your name Stendhal?
Yes.
I'm Garrett, investigator of moral climates. My identification?
So, you finally got to Mars, you moral climate people. I wondered when you'd appear.
We arrived last week. We'll soon have things as neat and tidy as Earth. Suppose you tell me about this place, Stendhal.
It's a haunted castle, if you like.
I don't like the sound of that word. Haunted.
Simple enough. In this year of our Lord 2036, I've built a mechanical sanctuary. In it, copper bats fly on electronic beams, brass rats scuttle in plastic cellars, robot skeletons dance, robot vampires, harlequins, wolves, and white phantoms, compounded of chemical and ingenuity, live here.
That's what I was afraid of. I'm afraid we're going to have to tear your place down.
I knew you would come out as soon as you discovered what went on.
I'd have come sooner, but we at Moral Climates wanted to be sure of your intentions before we moved in. We can have the dismantlers and burning crew here by supper. By midnight, your place will be razed to the cellar. Mr. Stendhal?
Yes?
I consider you somewhat of a fool, sir. Spending hard-earned money on a folly. Why, it must have cost you $3 million.
$4 million, Mr. Garrett. I inherited $25 million when very young. I can afford to throw it about. Seems a dreadful shame, though, to have the house finished only an hour, and have you race out with your dismantlers. Couldn't you possibly let me play with my toy for just, 24 hours?
You know the law. Strict to the letter. No books, no houses. Nothing to be produced which in any way suggests ghosts, vampires, fairies, or any creatures of the imagination.
You'll be burning Babbitts next.
You've caused us a lot of trouble, Mr. Stendhal. It's in the record, 20 years ago. On Earth, you and your library.
Yes, me and my library. And a few others like me. Oh, Poe's been forgotten for many years now, and Oz and the other creatures. But I had my little cache. We had our libraries. A few private citizens, until you sent your men around with torches and incinerators and tore my 50,000 books up and burned them. Just as you put a stake through the heart of Halloween and told your film producers that if they would make anything at all, they would have to make and remake Ernest Hemingway. My God, how many times have I seen For Whom the Bell Tolls Done? 30 different versions, all realistic. Oh, realism. Oh, here. Oh, now. Oh, hell.
It doesn't pay to be bitter.
Mr. Garrett, you must turn in a full report, mustn't you?
Yes.
Then, for curiosity's sake, you'd better come in and look around. It'll only take a minute.
All right, lead the way, but no tricks. I've got a gun with me. Ah, a rat! It's not real. Amazing.
There, in the corner, a witch and her tarot cards.
Death. Death.
Now that's the sort of thing I mean. A tarot witch. A toothless mouth and hands of wax. Deplorable.
I'll let you burn her personally.
Will you really? I must say you're taking this all very well.
It was enough just to be able to create this place, to be able to say I did it, to say I nurtured a medieval atmosphere in a modern, incredulous world.
I've a somewhat reluctant admiration for your genius myself, sir. What? Look! A mist. Shaped like a woman. But it's not real. It's a mist. Ah! Hold on. An ape. It's an ape.
Don't be afraid. A robot. Copper skeleton and all, like the witch. See? Under the fur, metal tubing.
Yes. But why, Mr. Stendhal? Why all this? What obsessed you?
Bureaucracy, Mr. Garrett. But I haven't time to explain. Ape, kill Mr. Garrett.
What? No! No!
Are we almost ready, Pikes?
Yes, sir.
You've done a splendid job.
Well, I'm paid for it, Mr. Stendhal. Now, the other one. Lift the plastic eyelid, yes. Okay. Insert the glass eye. Yes. Fasten it to the rubberoid muscles. Yes. And there.
The spitting image of Mr. Garrett.
What do we do with him, sir? Him on that table.
The real Mr. Garrett, you mean? Better burn him, Pikes. We wouldn't want two Mr. Garretts now, would we? Wheel him to the incinerator.
In you go. Oh, that's hot.
Now I will bring our Mr. Garrett back to his spaceship and send him on his way. When I return, Pikes, we send the remainder of the invitations for tonight. I think we'll have a jolly time, don't you?
Considering we've waited 20 years, it's quite jolly.
Seven o'clock. Almost time. To our success. Oh, how I will savor this in my old age. This paying back of the antiseptic government for its literary terrors and conflagrations. The anger and the hatred I have for it. How the plan has taken shape in my mind. Slowly at first. Until 3 years ago, when I met Pikes. Pikes. With the bitterness in him as deep as a black-charred well of green acid. Who is Pikes?
Only the greatest of them all. A man of 10,000 faces. A fury, a smoke, a blue fog, a white rain, a bat, a gargoyle, a monster. That is who I am. Better than Lon Chaney. Better than that ancient mummer. What was his name? Karloff. Far better.
There is only one Pikes, and he was a man stripped of his fantasies now. No place on earth to go. No one to show off to. Forbidden even to perform for himself before a mirror. Poor, impossible Pikes. How it must have felt. The night they seized your films like entrails yanked from the camera, out of your guts, clutching them in coils and wads, to stuff them up a stove, to burn away. Did it feel as bad as having some 50,000 books annihilated with no recompense? Yes. Yes. So we talked over endless coffee pots into innumerable midnights, and out of all the talk and the bitter brewings would come the House of Usher. 7 o'clock, Pikes. Our robots are ready and waiting?
They are.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee, Mock Turtle, Dormouse, Tick-Tock, Ruggedo, St. Nicholas, Bluebeard?
10,000 eyelids.
The night is enchanted. And they are arriving, dressed in their finest evening clothes, to be sure. Eminent people, one and all, members of the Society for the Prevention of Fantasy, advocators of the banishment of Halloween and Guy Fawkes, killers of bats, burners of books, good clean citizens, every one, who had waited until the rough men had come up and buried the Martians and cleansed the cities and built the towns and repaired the highways and made everything safe. And then, with everything well on its way to safety, the spoil funds, the people with mercurochrome for blood and iodine-colored eyes, come now to set up their moral climates and dole out goodness to everyone, and they are my friends. Yes, I met and befriended each one of them on Earth. How nice to see them again. I'll wait for them outside. Welcome one and all.
So this is Usher.
Welcome all of you to the vasty halls of death.
Stendhal, what is all this?
You'll see. Everyone off with their clothes.
What's he talking about?
Totally absurd.
You'll find booths to one side there. Change into your costumes you find there. Men on this side, women on that.
I don't know if we should stay. I don't like the look of this. It verses on blasphemy.
Nonsense. A costume ball?
Seems quite illegal.
Oh, come off it. Enjoy yourselves. Tomorrow it will be a ruin. Get in the booths. The house blazed with life and color. Harlequins rang by with belled caps, and white mice danced miniature quadrilles to the music of dwarves, who tickled tiny fiddles with tiny bows, and flags ripple from scorched beams while bats fly in clouds about gargoyle mouths which spout down wine, cool, wild, and foaming. A creek wanders through the 7 rooms of the masked ball. Guests are sipping and...
Sherry! It's not water, it's sherry!
The guests poured from the booths, transformed from one age into another, their faces covered with dominoes. The very act of putting on a mask revokes all their licenses to pick a quarrel with fantasy and horror. The women sweep about in red gowns, laughing. The men dance them attendance. On the walls are shadows, with no people to throw them. And here and there are mirrors in which no image shows.
No image? All of us vampires. Dead.
There are 7 rooms, each a different color. One blue, one purple, one green, one orange, another white, the 6th violet, and the 7th shrouded in black velvet. In the black room is an ebony clock which strikes the hour loud. Yes, into the rooms! All of you into the rooms! Drunk at last, drunk among the robot fantasies, amid the dormice and the mad hatters, the trolls and giants, the black cats and white queens, and under your dancing feet, the floor gives off the massive beat of a hidden and tell-tale heart.
Mr. Stendhal! Mr. Stendhal!
What is it, Mikes?
I must see you alone.
What?
Here.
What are these? Half melted?
Charred wheels, nuts, cogs, bolts. I was cleaning out the incinerator, and I found them.
Garrett?
Garrett. He sent a robot in his place. This means the police will be here any minute. Our plan will be ruined.
I don't know. I should have guessed Garrett wouldn't be fool enough to come in person. But wait.
What's the matter?
Nothing. There's nothing the matter. Garrett sent a robot to us. Well, we sent one back. Unless he checks closely, he won't notice the switch.
Of course.
Next time, he'll come himself, now that he thinks it's safe. Why, that must be him now, I'll bet you. Go let Mr. Garrett in.
Mr. Stendhal?
Mr. Garrett. The real Mr. Garrett?
The same. I thought I'd better come see for myself. You can't depend on robots, other people's robots especially. I also took the precaution of summoning the dismantlers. They'll be here in 1 hour to knock the props out from under this horrible place.
Thanks for telling me. In the meantime, you might enjoy a little wine?
No, thank you. What's going on? How low can a man sink?
See for yourself, Mr. Garrett.
Murder.
Murder most foul.
The most horrid thing just happened. I saw Miss Blunt strangled by an ape and stuffed up a chimney.
What?
Yes!
Miss Pope?
Miss Blunt! I just saw you crammed up the flue.
No, a robot of myself. A clever facsimile.
But...
Oh, don't cry, darling. I'm quite all right. Let me look at myself. Oh, well, so there I am. Oh, up the chimney, little strands of yellow hair trailing down from the flue. Isn't that funny?
Have a drink, Garrett?
I believe I will. That unnerved me. My God, what a place. This does deserve tearing down. For a moment there...
There goes Mr. Steffens, upon the shoulders of 4 white rabbits down a flight of stairs.
But the stairs just appeared in the floor.
No!
What's that? What's wrong?
Let's go look.
Mr. Garrett.
Mr. Steffens, we're going... Steffens!
Yes?
You just...
Just what?
The white rabbits! They...
Here we are. Oh, look down there.
Is that me down there?
Bound and gagged under the razor steel of a great pendulum. Getting closer.
How strange. How odd to see yourself die.
And dead.
How realistic. How realistic.
Another drink, Mr. Garrett?
Yes, please.
It won't be long. The dismantlers will be here.
Thank God. What was that?
Miss Drummond.
Oh, it's my turn. Look.
Why, I remember that.
I'm being nailed into a coffin.
From the old forbidden books. The premature burial.
They're lowering me into the ground.
The others. The pit and the pendulum. And the ape. The chimney, the murders in the Rue Morgue. In a book I burned.
Yes. Another drink, Mr. Garrett. Here, hold your glass steady. And 5 others die. One in the mouth of a dragon. The others thrown into the black tarn, sinking and vanishing. Would you like to see what we have planned for you, Mr. Garrett?
Certainly. What's the difference? We'll blow the whole damn thing up anyway. You're nasty, Stendhal.
Come along, then. This way. And here. Another drink.
What do you want to show me down here?
Yourself killed?
The duplicates?
Yes. And also something else.
What? Hold that lantern higher, will you? It's very difficult to see down here.
Certainly.
What is the something else?
The Amontillado.
The what?
Haven't you ever heard? of the Amontillado?
No. Skeletons. Half out of the coffin lids. Disgusting. What is this place?
Don't you recognize that room I point to?
Should I?
Or this?
What's that thing? Looks like a trowel or something.
Does it? Come. Inside.
Why, you left the lantern out there. It's too dark to see anything. What's that? Hey, what are you... Get these off me!
Yes.
For God's sake, what are you doing?
I'm being ironic. Don't interrupt a man in the midst of being ironic. It's not polite.
You just locked this chain on me!
So I have.
What are you going to do?
Leave you here.
You're joking.
A very good joke.
Where's my duplicate? Don't we see him killed?
There's no duplicate.
But the others...
The others are dead. The ones you saw killed were the real people. The duplicates, or robots, stood by and watched. Now you're supposed to say, "For the love of God, Montresor!" And I will reply, "Yes, for the love of God." Won't you say it? Come on, say it.
You fool!
Must I coax you? Say it, for the love of God, Montresor!
I won't, you idiots! Get me out of here!
Here, put this on.
What is it?
A cap and bells. Put it on, and I might let you out.
Stand down!
Put it on, I said!
There, it's on!
Don't you have a feeling that this has all happened before?
What are you doing?
Walling you in.
You're insane!
I won't argue that point.
You'll be prosecuted for this!
Almost done. More flashing, please. Let's make it a good show.
Let me out! Let me out! Let me
And here is the last brick. Just one brick left. Garrett, do you know why I've done this to you? Because you burned Mr. Poe's books without really reading them. You took other people's advice that they needed burning. Otherwise, you'd have realized what I was going to do to you when we came down here. Ignorance is fatal, Mr. Garrett. I want this to be perfect. Jingle your bells softly. Now, if you'll please say, "For the love of God, Montresor," I might set you free.
For the love of God, Montresor.
Requiescat in pace, dear friend. Ready, Pikes?
Ready. Get in, sir.
And there it goes!
My brain reeled as I saw the mighty walls rushing asunder. There was a long, tumultuous shouting sound like the voice of 1,000 waters.
and the deep and dark tarn at my feet closed sullenly and silently over the fragments of the House of Usher.
This is the end of disc number 4. Please insert disc number 5.